Number 10. Baghdad, Iraq. Baghdad is more likely to experience a terrorist attack than any other city in the world. Within just 1 year of the US invasion of Iraq in 2003, the number of terrorist attacks almost quadrupled from 78 to 302. In 2014, Baghdad was hit by 380 terrorist attacks, killing 1,141 people and injuring over 3,600. And in 2015, it's become the battleground for ISIS. The militant extremists have littered the road to Baghdad with 500 mutilated bodies and forced 8,000 people out of their homes, trying to conquer Iraq. Number 9. Yokohama, Japan. 37 million people live in the world's #1 natural disaster zone. The Tokyo-Yokohama region of Japan rests on an active fault in the Pacific Ocean. That means 80% of the population is under constant threat from tsunamis, earthquakes, floods, and monsoons at any time. At least 1,500 earthquakes strike Japan every year, but in 2011, the country was hit by a colossal earthquake and tsunami that killed more than 18,000 people and cost over $300 billion in repairs. Number 8. San Pedro Sula, Honduras, the murder capital of the world. Home to drug trafficking and gang wars, there were 187 homicides per 100,000 civilians. That's more than 3 people murdered every day. In contrast, the murder rate in the USA is just 4.8 per 100,000. The city is overrun by rival gangs the Mara Salvatrucha and 18th Street, whose 90,000 members are responsible for at least 60 massacres in the city every year. Even innocent children are targets. In 2007, Tottenham footballer Wilson Palacios' 14-year-old brother was kidnapped and brutally murdered by the M18, even after his family paid a $500,000 ransom. Number 7. Kashmir, South Asia. The border between India and Pakistan could be the location of the next nuclear holocaust. For over 60 years, the two nations have fought over Kashmir, sparking 3 devastating wars. Fighting along this deadly fault line has killed more than 50,000 people since 1989. Today, India and Pakistan have up to 200 nuclear warheads, some more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb, that could wipe out the 10 million residents of Kashmir and plunge the region into a nuclear winter. Number 6. Fukushima, Japan. In March 2011, the Fukushima Daiichi power plant suffered a triple nuclear meltdown. Entire districts were abandoned to avoid radiation poisoning, but one man still lives in Tomioka, a town just 6 miles from Fukushima. Every day, Naoto Matsumura experiences 17 times the safe level of radiation. After years of exposure, Naoto will develop chronic radiation syndrome, causing cancer, anemia, and neurological diseases. Since the meltdown, over 100 children have been diagnosed with thyroid cancer, which normally affects just 1 in a million. Number 5. Naples, Italy. In 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius buried the city of Pompeii under a sea of lava and poisonous gas, killing over 1,200 people. The volcano last erupted in 1944.
Year after year, Vesuvius presents a figure of smouldering menace. The little villages below look pleasant and peaceful, but in a few hours, they will be gone. Nothing like it had been experienced since 1906.
Its next eruption is overdue. Volcanologists predict that the next explosion will be so forceful that it will shoot out lava and ash up to 160 kilometers per hour over a distance of 20 kilometers. That hasn't stopped 960,000 people settling in Naples at the base of this fiery beast. And 2/3 of those live on the volcano's slope, which could one day soon be scorched with molten rock as hot as 630 degrees. Number 4. Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. Latin America has the highest murder rate of women in the world. In Ciudad Juarez, one of the most violent cities, 1 in 3 women is killed there from sexual assault and torture. Up to 300 women a year are victims of femicide in Juarez. Here, women are regularly murdered from gang disputes and domestic violence. In 2010, dozens of girls went missing from the city. 2 years later, the bones and slaughtered bodies of 18 young women were discovered in a mass grave in Ciudad Juarez, each one a victim of the femicide pandemic. Number 3. The Sahel, Africa. Political conflict and failing rains in the African Sahel have left 23 million people starving in one of the deadliest droughts in history. In 2014, donors raised just 25% of the UN's $2 billion appeal to end the famine. At least 8 countries across the Sahel region are affected by poor harvests, and the number of people who don't know when their next meal will be has doubled in 1 year. A predicted 2.5 million malnourished people in the Sahel need urgent humanitarian intervention to survive the year. Number 2. The Gulags, North Korea. The UN has declared North Korea's human rights the worst in the world. Up to 120,000 prisoners are enslaved in North Korea's gulags, like Hwasong. Every day, prisoners are tortured, starved, have limbs chopped off, and are forced to kill their own children for as little as being late to work. Even just expressing your opinion, watching a Hollywood movie, or making a long-distance phone call will have you executed or imprisoned. North Korea's 3 generations of punishment also means that children of prisoners are born and spend their entire lives in these camps, without ever having committed a crime. Number 1. Raqqa, Syria. ISIS has taken over the city of Raqqa. The militant terror group executes anyone who breaks Sharia law. Women are regularly stoned to death for being disrespectful, and one man was even beheaded for cursing. Oppression is rife in the city. The latest ISIS propaganda video shows soldiers executing 30 Ethiopian Christians. Academic books are illegal, and the terror group has also threatened to execute any male teacher found educating female students.
Hi guys, that was the 10 most dangerous places to live, and if you want to learn more about North Korea and just how dangerous it is, head over to All Time Conspiracies. They've done an excellent documentary about the subject. Be sure to check it out. Do it now.